Wouldn't it be a beautiful thing if everyone in the world decided to be chaste for 6 years? Many diseases would disappear. We all know that disease everybody mentions in the world.
Right.
And there are international conferences held right, left, and center, and billions of money spent in research.
Yeah.
AIDS. If only people would decide to observe chastity.
Yeah.
Every husband and wife, you just keep to your partner, no more. Everybody else, you just don't have sexual relations with anyone. You see, this disease of the century
That's right.
would become a thing of the past soon.
That's right. You can't violate nature the way you're doing it without the consequences.
But before ever we reach AIDS, you mentioned already, it causes so much suffering in the family.
That's right.
When one partner is unfaithful, so much suffering, so much distress. When the children are not chaste, it causes so much suffering to them, so much suffering to the parents. It ruins careers. It ruins bodies. It sends people to the hospital when they should not be there at all. There is so much suffering, and it has not brought happiness to anyone.
That's right.
From the days of Solomon, who looked for 1,000 women, this sin has not brought joy to anyone.
You know, one of the...
But virtue has.
Right. One of the real consequences, I think, of the abuse of sex education in the schools without the emphasis of chastity, and I know the Holy Father is very clear on this in the Code of Canon Law, that the parents must be in control of this process of sex education of their children. Because we've noticed that when you start to discuss this intimate subject with mixed groups, you just tear down the respect of womanhood. And it can't be handled, it really can't be handled well in high school or grammar school in the mixed groups. It just cannot be. And the parents have to be in control of it, and they're not. And the situation is saying, well, the parents aren't doing it, so therefore the schools should do it. But in reality, it isn't necessary even to bring it in. What is necessary is chastity, to teach chastity, to teach the effects of impurity, to talk about the virtues, but to get into the biology and all of the details prior to marriage opens up a whole area that I believe has brought about AIDS in America. I believe the sex education programs back in the 60s set into motion what we are now seeing today.
Well, the doctors, they have come around, those who want to say the whole thing. Science has come around to seeing that God's commandments are the way indeed for us. The psalmist had said already, to walk in your ways, O Lord, that is our joy. When those who leave God and go away from him will have their names written on sand, they are in trouble. Sex education, or rather we should really say education to chastity.
That's where it should be.
That's better.
That's the key.
Education,
that's the key.
Yes, education to chastity is a very delicate matter. And only those who are near to God and who are ready to share that respect for God are well equipped to do it. Parents should be the first to give this necessary education to their children. It's not a thing like arithmetic or geography, which can be handled by any fellow around. Even if the person doesn't believe in other peoples around the world, traveling, doesn't love them, he can still know about them. Chastity is not taught in that way.
That's right.
It's not biology at all.
Because I even noticed, no matter how holy the person is that's teaching it, if they put a mixed group together in grammar school, 6th or 7th or 8th graders or high school, and they start talking about this intimate subject, no good comes from it. It can't be handled with a mixed group. And that is what is being done. And it's just, we're seeing it deteriorate so much. And I even know Cardinal Baum issued a very strong, when I was in Rome years ago, guidelines for sex education, saying it must be in the parents' control. Yes. And the Holy Father in the Code of Canon Law must be in the parents' control. Not parents' involvement, but parent control.
Yes.
And now they're just saying, well, the parents aren't doing it, they don't want to come to the meeting, so we'll do it. No, I would be preferred that the school not do it at all, rather than it saying that the parents aren't doing it, because what the effects are is that the gutter language or the gutter dispositions start to enter into the classroom. The little snickers and the flashbacks to programs on television, questions that come up that are very embarrassing to the girls that somebody would say, and just it can't be handled well. And it really, I believe the parents should really read the Code of Canon Law, and the teachers and those in authority must submit to the parents' authority in this area.
This is very serious matter for the parents to think about and take action about, and the church at various levels, beginning from the parish and then the diocese, because there are responsibilities for these two in this matter. Then the schools, that they do not presume that they can do everything. It is not just one subject alongside others. I could not, of course, just coming here, begin to go into details about how you should do it in your country. I can only keep to these general principles.
It's in the parents' area. I think the, you know, and then we're talking now about poverty. That's a subject we don't like to hear much about. Maybe you can expand on that, Chairman.
Yeah, when we say poverty, we are thinking here not just of monks and nuns in a monastery. We are thinking of the gospel spirit of Christ. What is the example that Jesus Christ gave us, and what is his teaching? The example he gave us is that of detachment from creatures. He himself was born in Bethlehem, not in a palace, in a place, there was no place for Joseph and Mary in the buildings, in the inn, in the hotels. They went to a place reserved for animals at a cave at the hillside. And that's where the Son of God was born. And Joseph was a carpenter in Nazareth, and tradition has it that Jesus learned from him carpentry. And then when Christ died, he wasn't a rich person. He had even no grave of his own. It was a borrowed grave. And on the cross, he didn't have a whole lot of treasures. So in short, he told us, the foxes have holes, the birds of heaven have nests, but the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head. He lived poor. There was no doubt about it. He also did that teaching, told the apostles, when you go on missionary journeys, do not take too many things, don't take too many coats, and give away what you have. That's what he said. He saw a rich young man, and the man said, I want to follow you. And Christ said, keep the commandments. The young man said, I have kept them from my youth. Christ looked at him and loved him and said, now, if you want advanced level holiness, if you want to follow me very closely, go, sell all you have, give to the poor. Then your treasures will be in heaven. Then come follow me.
That's hard.
And the young man said, well, let me think about it. It isn't a point on which I can immediately answer you. And went away sad because he had great possessions. So that young man was given invitation to a higher level of following Christ. He did not accept. So there are many grades of poverty. We do not condemn money or material things, as we reflected earlier. They are useful for serving God, for loving our neighbor and serving our neighbor, and showing that we are brothers and sisters of others. But they can capture our hearts if we are not careful. So we must acquire money honestly, first of all. Therefore, every dishonest way of acquiring money is hereby condemned. Then we must use it properly to love God, to serve our neighbor, to help others, not to give, just giving and humiliating people. Even how we give has also to be such that we don't humiliate others. Help them to help themselves. So, some people can make then a whole vow of poverty. The church looks after that. They can be in communities. If they are religious, they are brothers, sisters, monks, nuns. But everyone should have the spirit of poverty according to Christ and the gospel.
So willing to give everything up for the Lord is really what...
Yes.